Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Shubham and in this video we are going to have a look at NGRX store meta reducers. So we are already aware of various components of NGRX store and we are also aware of how the sequence of events take place whenever we are dispatching any action is the reducer that is called next. But what if, say suppose I am invoking an action known as add product where the reducer will be called which is responsible for actually adding the product to the cart state or the products array. I want to do something, right? Say for example I want to log the current action that is being dispatched and I also want to log the state before the reducer actually modifying the state or before the reducer actually adding the product to the cart state or the products array. Or say what if I want to empty the initial state or set the initial state before reducer actually performing its function, right? So these all kind of activities I can do that with the help of meta reducers. So meta reducers are the hooks basically that perform its function between the action has been dispatched and the actual reducer being called. So what meta reducers allows developers? It allows developers to pre-process actions before normal reducers are invoked. Now in an application you can have any number of meta reducers that you want. So in an application where we have a number of meta reducers, how meta reducers are getting invoked, we will look at that thing now. So first, when you have a number of meta reducers, you write an array of meta reducers and then you provide store module that array of meta reducers, and it's the responsibility of store module to actually invoke those meta reducers. But what is the sequence of order in which that store module invokes those meta reducers? It always invokes those meta reducers from right to left, that is the right element in an array, that is a meta reducer, will be invoked first, then the second last, then the third last, then the fourth last, and so on till the first meta reducer that is actually being invoked before the actual reducer that is supposed to perform the actual functionality of an action is getting invoked. Now we will look at the meta reducer signature, right? So meta reducers actually take a reducer, does whatever it want to do before actually invoking the actual reducer, and it also returns a new reducer, right? Let's understand these three concepts in depth and actually look at the signatures. So here in this example I have created a meta reducer known as debug, okay, that will actually be receiving a reducer. Now what is this reducer? So as we are already aware that whenever we have dispatched an action and the actual reducer being called, meta reducer is getting called. So this meta reducer will actually receive the reducer that it is supposed to call next for that action. So say for example we have an add product action and the reducer is nothing but a product reducer that will be called to actually add the product in the store, right? So this meta reducer will receive product reducer as an input. Now let's look at what are the functionality that a meta reducer is performing in this case. So first it's logging the action type. So what is the actual action type? It's logging the actual action type, okay. Now say I am dispatching an action known as add product, right? So what the meta reducer will log is the add product action. Now what meta reducer is doing is invoking the actual reducer that is supposed to handle the add product action, and it is taking a new reducer in the next state variable. So let's revisit whatever we have written. So the meta reducer takes a reducer, does whatever it's want to do and return a new reducer, right? So here what the meta reducer is doing, it has taken the product reducer as an input, it is logging the actual action that is invoked, and it is actually invoking the reducer that it was actually been passed, and it is returning a new reducer in the next state variable. After getting the new reducer in the next state variable, what is doing? It is logging actually the actual state with which it was being called. It is also logging the actual action for which it has invoked itself, and also it is also logging the next state, that means the next reducer, right? Now how you are gonna provide this meta reducer in your actual store module? So here is the syntax to do that. First, since we were developing a e-commerce website where we were having a cart state and a wish list state, okay, so I have provided a product reducer which is going to invoke itself for the add product action, remove product action and change product quantity in the cart state action, okay, and I am also making a meta reducers array. So here is a meta reducers array where I am having a single reducer known as debug. If say I am having a multiple reducer, say debug, debug 1, debug 2, debug 3. So it's a debug 3 that is being invoked first, then debug 2, then debug 1 and then debug. And all this meta reducer will receive this product reducer as an input, because this is the actual reducer, right, which is that is supposed to be called after the meta reducer has called itself. Okay, now let's look at the actual implementation. Now I have the same code, whatever I explained you on the slide, I have the same code written. Okay, now let's see how it works, how it renders in the browser, and what are the various things whatever I have logged actually looks like in the browser console, right. Now I have just loaded my page where I am having a cart state. Okay, so as you can see that here in the app.module.ts in the line number 13, okay, in the app.module.ts in the line number 13, I am printing something nothing but action.type, right. So currently I am not invoking any action, say add product action. I have a button add product, okay, at the bottom, which will actually dispatch a new product, but I'm not doing that. So by default, as you can see, if I have a meta reducer, okay, by default the action is that is being dispatched is nothing but a store init. Why this action is getting dispatched? Since we are using a store, right, so by default the store needs to be initialized itself. The store needs to initialize itself. So that's why this is the first action. Whenever you have a store module in your project, this will be the first action that will be getting dispatched, the initialization of the store. Now what I am doing is actually calling the reducer. What is this reducer? This reducer is nothing but the product reducer, okay. And what product reducer is doing? Okay, now the product reducer will initialize our actual the actual state, or we will have the actual cart object inside the store, and in that cart object we will actually have a products array, right. So what I am doing after initializing actually calling the actual reducer, I am taking the output in a next state variable and I am printing the next state variable after 2 more console.log. So first let's see what this state will be getting printed. Since I am actually calling my meta reducer with the initial state, right, now the initial state is undefined, right, we don't have any state that is defined as of now. So the initial state is undefined after the initial action, that was the store init, that is taking place. Now what is the actual action? So the actual action is nothing but an init action. I have not dispatched any action as of now, like the add product action. So the actual action is nothing but a init action, okay. Now I am actually, whenever I have called the actual reducer, I am receiving the output in the next step and I am printing the next state, right. So what my next state will look like after calling the actual reducer, that is nothing but the product reducer. So the next state will initialize our actual cart state in a store, right. So as you can see that we have the initial object that is nothing but a store, and we actually have a cart state which actually manages the products. Right now, since we have not dispatched another action known as add product action, our products array is an empty array. Now let's do one thing. Let's dispatch the actual action, add product. Now let's see what is getting printed, right. Now first thing first, I am getting printing is the action.type, right. So what is the actual action that I am doing? I am actually dispatching an action known as add product. right? That's why in the line number 13 add product action is getting printed, and then I'm actually calling the reducer, but I'm actually printing whatever has been returned by this actual reducer being called. That is nothing but we are calling the product reducer in this next state variable after printing two more statement, that is the state and an action, right? So now what the actual state will look like, let's see at this state, right? So as you can know that after initializing, after the first call to the meta reducer, our cart was initialized with a cart object and actually the products with an empty products array, right? So now the previous state is nothing but an object which is having a cart state and which is having a products array without any products in it. Okay, now I'm actually printing the action. What the action that I have actually dispatched? Now the action that I have actually dispatched is nothing but an add product action, right? And then I'm printing the next state. So see here I have actually called my reducer, that is nothing but a product reducer, and I'm taking the output in a next state variable. So this is the next state that will get printed. So what is getting printed in the next state is the cart state, which is having an array of products which is actually containing the product that I have actually dispatched, right? So this is how a meta reducer will actually work between your actual action getting dispatched and the actual reducer being getting called. So I think that's all for the meta reducer video. If you have any question, you can comment me in the comment section. If you like my videos, do subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, do click the thumbs up icon. That's it. Bye bye. See you in the next video.